So how you doing today? How are you doing today? Y'all already know I'm your host, Lacey G. Souldier Turner, and today I got a very special guest with me. She is a journalist. She is the founder of KB Sports Media and the creator of the Bar Set Tour. She's a digital creator, a sideline reporter, a sports broadcaster, a storyteller, producer, writer, award-winning facilitator, on-air host. She got over 20 years of experience in just writing, hosting, interviewing, producing content for everybody. Y'all already know. So without further ado, you don't want to talk about this wonderful, amazing woman. So without further ado, I want to welcome to the platform the wonderful, amazing, talented Lakisha KB Brooks. Welcome to the platform.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay, so I want to let the people know a little bit about you. So can you let the people know where were you born and raised and how was your upbringing as a child?
Oh, okay. So I'm from a small town in South Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia. You may know about us from football. We are the home of Titletown, USA. We are the home of the number one winningest football program in high school history, the Valdosta Wildcats. Which I did not go to that school, but shout out to the Wildcats. I am from Lowndes High School, one of the best in the decades in the 2000, 2010 era. My upbringing was great. Two parents, George and Jeanette Brooks. My mother recently passed away about 3 years ago, but they were the foundation for who I am, what I believe in, what I value. I have a sister, Tabitha, sister Gwendolyn, and a brother, Aaron. So just wonderful family upbringing, and yeah, so great.
Okay. So let me ask you this: what was your inspiration behind creating the Bar Set Tour? What made you want to create this?
Yeah, great question. So I was, of course, doing my research as a journalist, as you know, just
Yeah.
doing that normal thing. And I ran across an article that spoke about women sports bars popping up across the United States. There's a lot of articles about bars that are dedicated to women's sports, that prioritize women's sports, and some that, quite frankly, just sort of show women's sports. And I said, I really want people to really understand what these bars are like. An article or a photo can show something, but when you are actually immersed in that, and I get to show them, here's me tasting the signature dish, here's me drinking the signature drink, here's me talking to the bar owner, here's me talking to patrons. It's kind of like the Food Network, and they have some of those shows where you're into the restaurants and you actually get to see it. That's what I said. Hey, how can I combine journalism, my love of food, which I'm a foodie as well, and of course my number one love of sports. And I said, I want to go on the road. I want to actually catch the essence of these bars. And because people ask me, what's a women's sports bar? What does it mean? And I'm like, okay, you know what? Let me show you what it means. And so that inspired that. And we're going to go on the road. Actually, we're going to start here in Atlanta, where I live.
Okay.
And we're going to go to 8 cities, 9 different bars across the United States, from Atlanta all the way up to Seattle. and
Mm.
showing people the essence, the magic behind what make these women bars what they
Okay, yeah, I saw your schedule. I was like, oh, see St. Louis on here. I was like, ah, nah, yeah.
are.
I know y'all going to Chicago though, so
We are going to two bars in Chicago, actually, two of
yes.
them.
So let me ask you this: can you talk about how women own sports bars are driving visibility and equity in sports culture?
I'm sorry.
I said, could you tell me how women own sports bars are driving visibility and equity into sports culture?
Well, we know that equity is a big part of everything in life. So, you didn't mention this, but I actually was the VP of DEI at the International Coaching Federation. So,
Mm.
I know all too well about diversity, equity, inclusion because I built our department from the ground up
Uh,
and left a wonderful successor there that is following the legacy that I left there. So I know all about this outside of just sports
mm,
because I lived it, I breathed it, I did it. And I had 60,000 members
mm,
that I was helping with DEI and 100 staff members. So as it relates to sports, like I said, this is nothing new.
mm,
The women's sports bars are providing a space for visibility, as you said. It's allowing women's sports to be seen, heard, and valued. I go to a lot of sports bars. You know, Buffalo Wild Wings is one of my favorites that I go to. Yeah, one here in Cartersville called Sidelines, which is really great as well. But to be honest, how many times do you find women's sports on the
right,
forefront or even on? These
right.
women's sports bars are allowing just to be a fair, equitable space. It's not about saying women are better, men are better. It's just like women want to just have a equal opportunity to have visibility, to have their fans watch it. And that's what these sports bars do. Like I said, there's some sports bars that that's all they show.
Mm.
And people are like, well, is there enough sports, women's sports? Well, there are. If you actually watch, there's a lot of different sports that women play.
Mhm.
And the problem is that, like you said, the visibility is
Yes,
low. You
facts.
see a lot of sports organizations that are fighting for equity. I
Mm,
actually had a chance to attend TST, which is the soccer tournament, and I heard some of the women's Olympians talk about. I had a chance to interview them in the press conference, and I heard them talk about how they were fighting for equity when
mm.
it came to monies and resources that the men are getting. Venus Williams was one of the ones that fought for equity, when equal pay and equitable pay for tennis. Now we're seeing women do that with the WNBA. A lot of people think that it's about we want to make the same as men. No, they want the equitable share and the revenue sharing. That's what they're asking for. So I think a lot of people need to understand these sports bars are not saying no men allowed. We don't like men. It's saying we just want to have a space that's fair, equitable, and allows opportunity and access for women's sports fans and women's sports athletes to have the opportunity to be seen, heard, and have just a space to be able to watch in peace.
I love that. I love that. Let me ask you this:
Yes.
what's your favorite at Buffalo Wild Wings? Bone in or bone out?
I don't eat bone out wings at all. I
Oh,
always eat bone in. I don't know. I don't like, and it feels like a chicken nugget, but apparently it's not a chicken nugget, but it kind of feels like one. I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird.
okay, okay. So let me ask you this: how has storytelling, like through your bar set tour, how can that change like the mainstream's narrative around like women in sports?
Storytelling should be the art of any journalism,
Mm,
whether you're talking about women's sports or high school sports, like I just talked about. What did I tell you? The winningest high school program ever, right? I didn't even give you the number. I just told you that story. I can go on and on about my Vikings and the Wildcats, right? So,
mm,
as it relates to women, it's just really showing behind the scenes. Again, people are saying, "What's a women's sports bar?" I had people say, "Is it an LGBTQIA?" It's just okay. It's really trying to get rid of those stereotypes, the scrutiny, the stigma associated with any sports story. But as it relates to women's sports and women's sports bars, it's showing the people behind it. I had a chance to talk to Chelsea, who is the owner of Jolene in Atlanta. And I remember before she opened, I said, I want people to see your story, to understand that this is not just, I have a lot of money, I open this bar, that's it. Like there was a story behind Chelsea opening up Jolene. There's still a story. People think Jolene is just named after the song by Dolly Parton, but the story it's about her cat. Jolene is the name of her cat. Jolene is the mascot It's part of the logo. So all
Mm.
that stuff is a story that people don't know. And storytelling and journalism, it's what it's about. I love documentaries because it tells a story. I
Yes.
love like 30 for 30s. I'm
Yeah.
watching the
Okay.
Cowboys
Yeah.
documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Those things tell you the story behind the facts. You
Fact.
see facts all day in sports,
Yes.
but
Fact.
it's the story and the people behind it that makes them great. And that is why I always tell stories in my journalism.
Did you watch the 30 for 30 broke when it was talking about how the people went broke, all the
I've
basketball?
seen every single 30 for
Oh man,
30.
I
I
love
have ESPN
it.
Plus. I have Disney Plus. So I have access to it. I watch, I mean, when it comes to sports documentaries, I find them. There's one on the Polynesian football
Right.
players that's on Tubi that I share with
Oh
people.
man,
I find those that I see and I share as part of my journalism
I love it.
background to just show the different stories that people don't see, they don't know about.
I love it. I love it. I love it. We the same. We the same. Lakeisha. So can you tell me like what can audiences expect at these upcoming tour stops that you're gonna be doing?
Well, first they can expect some behind the scene footage. Now, the docu-series is not slated to come out until 2026,
Yeah.
but in the meantime, at each of the stops, you can expect to see behind the scenes stuff. You get to see some really cool patrons that are enjoying it. You get to kind of get a little glimpse of why they attend. You can get a little glimpse of the, like I said, a little bit of the food. You can get a little glimpse of the atmosphere, the energy behind it. You'll get a little feel like, okay, maybe I should be there. You know, again, picture it. They say it's worth 1,000 words, but I think a video is worth a million words if that's the
Right.
case. So
Right. Right.
I'm going to give a little bit of that as well. You'll get to see some of the vendors and the sponsors who support this. You get a little behind the scenes of that as well. And
Mhm.
again, like I said, you'll get a chance to see the magic, the essence behind all of this. And we're also working on having some of the female athletes just make an appearance,
Mhm.
just show your support. You know, maybe we can get some male athletes because allyship is also really important in women's sports.
Mhm.
I just talked to my dad and he's in town and he really wants to go to the Liberty game against the Dream. And so my sister and I are trying to figure out the logistics to get him there.
Okay.
And because he's an ally of women's sports. So I
Mhm.
don't want to just show that it's a whole bunch of women.
Yeah.
I also want to show the power of allyship and show it ain't just my daddy who got 3 daughters and a whole bunch of granddaughters. It's a lot of other men who are supporting women's sports bars. And that's also what I want to show the audience, that you can be a male and support this movement as well.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. You've been talking about this a little bit throughout the interview. Can you like talk about like the cultural impact? For instance, talk about how like food, fandom, and community are like broadening what sports culture look like.
Oh yeah. First, I told you again, I'm a foodie. I love to eat. I love to cook. I love to cook too. Like
We
I
both
make my
love to eat.
own French onion dip and stuff. And so I try to eat healthy. So I try to make the food that's not really healthy, make it healthy. I love that. And it's interesting because I have a colleague of mine who has a golf league and he just opened up a chicken place.
Mm,
And so I said that was literally the story. Okay, we have to do a story on how you're combining golf, culture, and chicken.
mm,
And so it's literally exactly what you said, because when you think about sports, you think about food, you think about those sliders, you think about those
right.
chicken
Yes.
wings, bone
Yeah.
in, of course. You think about those potato wedges.
Going out. No.
You think about all those dips. It comes with that. When you think about the Super Bowl, what do you think about? A party.
Yes.
And what's at the party? All this food. Some
Mm,
people have football parties every single Sunday. Tailgating. Oh my God. Go to a Lowndes High School football game. I can't speak for other schools. And tailgating is a big deal. Food is literally a part of sports. And that is why this tour is so important, because it's not just about, oh, there's women that want equity and visibility. That's part of it. But it's also about food is part of the culture of sports. And I want to show people it brings community together, right? When you have Super Bowl parties, unless you're like me sometimes who don't like to be bothered with people, me and my dog, but typically it's a lot of people, right? Coming together in community,
yeah.
trying to talk about and, jockeying about whose team is best and all these other things.
Yeah.
Fantasy football drafts. You have draft parties.
Baltimore Ravens. Go ahead.
I knew you were from that area because I know that accent. And I
No,
was like,
no,
he's
no,
from
no,
here.
no, no.
Are you from there?
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, but Baltimore Ravens is my favorite.
Oh,
Yeah,
got it,
I'm in
got it.
St. Louis, but Baltimore Ravens, that's my favorite
You
team.
oh so okay, y'all lost the team. There's no more
Yeah.
Rams there, so I get
Oh,
it.
oh,
I
oh,
don't want to talk. We won't talk
throw it in
about
my
that.
face.
Sorry.
Throw it up in my
We're not
face.
going to talk about the Rams, but that's why community is so important, right? Because you just lost your community and the Rams are gone. So, yeah.
Look,
But you
Keisha
had some
just
good
rubbing
days
it in.
back in the day.
He
Good,
just
good
rubbing
days.
it in. We won a Super Bowl though. At
You
least
did.
there we
You
go.
did. You did.
All right, well, Keisha, let me ask you this. So you've been doing a lot of things on your journey. What would you say has been your greatest challenge?
Ooh. And ooh. In general? Oh, okay. Honestly, the biggest challenge for me was making the choice to get out of corporate, get out of the traditional work field, and do this media thing
Mhm.
after all these years. So, yes, I started in public speaking, facilitating journalism at 18 years old. Actually, my first ever public speaking competition, I was 17, won the state of Georgia. That was a lot of years ago. Let's just say a lot of years ago. And I went to college to do sports journalism. I wanted to be a sportscaster. I had my own show at Georgia State. But when I became like 28-ish, I went to get my master's degree and wanted to do sports management and sports marketing and said, hey, I need to know that, combine that with journalism. Bam, you're powerful. It could be like Louis Reddick, because he
Yeah,
knows the front office
yeah,
and he knows kind of journalism. So I'm like,
yeah.
okay, he's badass, right? I'm gonna be Louis Reddick. So, but then they didn't have my major, and so I had to switch, and I did general administration. So I've been doing DEI, talent management, corporate training for 10 years. And I did journalism, I did panels, I did interviewing, but more on the corporate side. I had a internal legal podcast.
Mm.
Great job, boring podcast. I did a DEI one. So I've done a lot of panel, I've done a lot of that kind of stuff. But I was like, with the climate of the country, I was like, DEI is just not really the place to be right now.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so I had to make a choice. And it was tough. It was a challenge to say, I'm giving up 6-figure job. I'm giving up a 6-figure consulting business.
Mm.
I'm giving all of that up. I mean, I have my real estate, but yo, that's it. Oh my God. Like,
That's
do I
it.
want to do this? Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's interesting because I said, now is the time. Because if I don't do it now, when am I going to have a chance to really
yeah.
do what I love to do, which is why I came to Atlanta.
Mhm.
And I was actually going to just build my portfolio, do my journal. Because if you Google my name, it
Mhm.
shows up talent management DEI. There's no really like sports stuff. So I was like, maybe I'll just go do some hosting, get my portfolio up, just to send out my sizzle reel. That's an old school
Yeah.
term, a sizzle reel. So they
I
see
know
what I
about it. I
do.
know about it. I know about
Yeah, you know about that. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. But then this wonderful guy in my life was like, why don't you start your own media company? He was like, you can do that. Like you can build your own brand, build your own team. And I said, you know what? You're right. You're right. I can. So now we have a few interns.
it.
We
Okay.
have a sponsorship coordinator.
Okay.
We have Nicole that we
Yeah,
have
yeah,
amazing people just because this person was like, don't just settle just to be a broadcaster.
okay.
You can build your own media company. And so that was a challenge to make that decision. And it's still like, of course, like it's not the same as your consistent paycheck that you're used to making with your really great benefits that you have at your job.
Yeah.
So that's hard and challenging. But I would say my mental health is better.
Hmm.
I love what I do a lot more. And I'm having fun,
That's
Lacey.
the key. That's the key. That's the key.
Key. So yes, it was a tough decision, but the other side of it, so much more rewarding.
Uh, I like
Yeah.
that. I love that a lot. Listen, you need somebody else on your team.
He's the man. Not he man, the man.
There you go. There you go. So let me ask you this: on the flip side of that, what would you say has been your greatest accomplishment?
Wow. I think I've had a lot because I feel like I'm proud of a lot of things that I do. My greatest accomplishment, Oh, it's on a personal side.
Mhm.
So my mom wanted to get a new house, and my dad is so dang on stubborn. He never wants to use his VA loan. He's just an old stubborn man. And we're like, Dad, use your VA loan. Like you're a veteran. You work hard for that. I don't want to, old man.
Yeah, yes, yes.
And so I helped my dad with the VA loan, and my mom was able to get into that new house. She
Mm,
was able to be in that house for a year before she passed away, but to
nice.
be able to help them get into that home. And I took off, they owed a little bit on their home that they had. So
Mm,
I paid the $14,000 to
mm,
take care of that. So my dad didn't have to worry about two mortgages. I'm like, Dad, I got you. Like, I'll pay for that. If that's what the biggest gripe is, I'll pay for it.
mm.
You just enjoy this new house. And for me, it meant a lot to me to be able to do that for them, to be able to give my dad that relief to say, hey, like, I can get my wife this house she wants. I don't have to pay for a second mortgage. My daughter's going to help me. It meant a lot. And to have my mom, she was able to celebrate Thanksgiving in the house. We bought the house November 2nd, 3rd, and my dad was like, I don't know if we can have Thanksgiving. It's too soon. But my mama was able to pull that off and have all those folks at the house. And so that was the only Thanksgiving that she was actually able to really celebrate, because uh, she had suffered a stroke the next year and really wasn't able to really participate. But it was great to be able to give that to her before she passed away. That was my greatest accomplishment. Nothing to do with work, just taking care of my mom and
Well,
daddy.
well, rest in peace, Mom. I'm glad you got to enjoy that. You know what I'm saying, with your
Yeah.
family and friends. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. So let me ask you this: what advice would you give to someone who's like probably interested in starting their own media company, or just like being a journalist, period, who want to go ahead and leap out there?
Yeah, just don't be afraid. Do it. There's going to be tough times. There will be times where you maybe don't make a lot of money initially. There'll be times when you may not get the story you want. There may be times when you get denied media access, and you just have to keep pushing and being creative. And the one thing that I've said in another interview that I did is that it's okay to combine content creation and journalism, because that's the way that it's going. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just be a one-dimensional journalist anymore. Like,
Facts.
unless you're like this, known for this one-stop shop. But
Yeah.
even now, look at Stephen A. Smith. He started as like a beat writer,
Facts.
and now he's got a podcast and he's on social media and he's doing other stuff too. He's not just a beat writer. He knew that in 2025 you have to expand and do other things. Also, what you have to understand is that as a journalist, as a media person, sometimes you have to know more than one sport. So,
Yeah, facts.
you're just like, I'm the basketball person. Okay, that's great. But you better know how to do other stuff, because let me tell you,
Facts.
basketball and football are extremely popular. Everybody wants to cover them. Everybody wants to get a piece of it. So you better learn how to cover something else. Let me tell you, KB Sports Media, we cover bass fishing. Okay. We cover golf. We cover
See?
basketball, track and
Yeah.
field, all of those things. We cover high school. We'll cover the amateur stuff. We'll cover professional sports. We are not too big to do any type of sports. If there's a story, trust me, I'll find the story. And there's an angle, I'll find it.
See?
I'll do it. So if you're able to be multifaceted and multidimensional and not afraid to adapt,
Mm,
you can do well. But if you
mm.
want to be stifled and say, I only do this, good luck with that.
Look, Lakeisha, let me tell you, look, my whole life, I really been doing music, and I write and direct movies and stuff. So, like, journalism was never in my car. So, I'm a journalist now. Like I said, I just put out be a part of the media for the NASCAR. So now I be going to NASCAR. I'm part of the beat. So
Yeah.
you are definitely right. Just put yourself out there, and everything will fall in place. So,
What do you like most about NASCAR?
man, just the experience, like just being right there, seeing the cars fly past, it's real loud to be heard. Like, you gotta have them headphones on. So just the experience, the fans, the drivers, everything. Like, I just love the whole environment. And like, if I wouldn't have went out there and did it, I never knew that I would have liked NASCAR.
NASCAR is fun. I love
I used
NASCAR.
to watch
Hmm.
it, but like, what are these cars just driving around on TV for? So
Yeah,
I
good.
love the experience a lot. Period. So, um, do you have anything else coming up that you want to promote?
So with the tour, we are gonna have limited edition t-shirts. And with that, it's going to say the Bar Set Tour, but also we have one for each of the cities. So if you want to rep Atlanta, you want to rep Long Beach, you want to rep Seattle, so on and so forth, get you a shirt. They're coming out very soon. So probably about a week they will drop. You can get all 10 of the shirts. I mean, we love that too. So go ahead and do that as well. We're super, super excited about that. Show your support. Now, the Bar Set is not just about the tour and the bars. It's also about setting the bar for yourself. You set the standard for what it is for you. We want people to know that's that messaging. Is that whatever you said, like you said, hey, I don't want to just be a music guy and a producer guy. I'm going to set the bar higher for me. The bar is set to this level. So we're going to get you a shirt too. You know why? Because it ain't just about women bars. It's about setting the bar for yourself. So that's coming out. Super excited about that. I mean, of course, we're covering sports. I'm covering the Atlanta Dream tonight. I'm going to be covering a golf apparel company on tomorrow, and then the Dream again, and then the apparel company again. So if you have a great story that's sports related and you want to share it with me, contact me. KB Sports Chick on Instagram, KB Sports Media 2025 on Instagram as well, or Lakisha at kbsportsmedia.net. It's my email address. I'd love to hear from you.
Look at that. She just dropped them jewels on y'all. That was going to be my next question. I was going to be like, let them know where they can find
journalists, come on now.
so they can find about the tour by contacting you also, right?
Yeah, well, they can also go to Instagram at the Bar Set Tour. We have an Instagram specifically for that, or you can go to kbsportsmedia.net onto our website. You'll see that as well.
Okay. All right, Miss Lakisha. My last question that I love to ask all my guests: when it is all said and done and you are long gone from this earth, what is it that you want the people to know about Lakisha Brooks?
I want them to know that Lakisha was a loving person. She was a charismatic person. She was a bold person. And those are my initials because I feel like my mother named me what she named me for a reason. I feel like my name and my initials have an important factor of who I am. When my mother died, there was so many kids that said, your mom inspired me. She made me not want to drop out of school. She was the best substitute. She was the best parapro I had. When my cousin passed away at 45 in her sleep, people said she gave me hope that I could be a mother because she was an OBGYN. Now what do I do? She was a pillar in Black women's health. That's the kind of stuff I want people to say about me. It's not about, this person had a lot of money. This person's so pretty. This person's so blah, blah, blah. It's not about any of that. It's what impact that you have on other people. And hopefully I have an impact on people with my storytelling. My broadcasting, my videos, my stories will live on forever, even after I'm gone. So hopefully even just one piece of media inspires someone. And so that's what I hope to leave.
All right, look at that. Bam, drop the mic on. Look, y'all already know Lakisha going. She in journalism, so she can answer these questions like that. I'm for this bug.
Kind of.
Thank you, Miss Lakisha. Look forward to the Bar Set Tour. I'm gonna try to get to the Chicago.
Yes, please do. You know what? We're gonna make that happen. Here's the thing. Don't tell me you can kind of sort of do something because I'm gonna make it happen. Okay,
make it happen. Let's get it.
We would definitely love to have you there. Okay. So definitely look out.
Yeah, I'm in St. Louis, so I'm like 4.5 hours away. So that's fine.
Okay, Nicole, you heard that? Did you hear that?
Nicole, make it happen.
Make it happen. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you. Great person. You're doing your thing, so I'm proud of you. Keep on doing your thing, and any way I can support and help, I'm always here for you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. You have a good day. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.